Hey, what's going on YouTube? Jeremy D. Glass here, back with another Drunken review. This time, I am hitting on something new to the channel that I teased a couple days ago. We are going to be doing a Drunken review on restaurants. The restaurant in particular on today is called Poor Daddy's BBQ, located in Kermit, Texas, right behind Chaotic Wings and Pizza. I don't know the exact address. Sure, it won't be too hard to find if you're really that interested in looking it up. And first off, we're going to get into the video by talking about how I felt walking up to the restaurant for the very first time. And which, mind you, the food I'm covering today isn't the first time I've gone to the restaurant. I've been there multiple times already by the time I decided to do this. And the first time I walked up to the restaurant, I was super excited. I really love food. One thing that I've always enjoyed doing in this life is trying new restaurants and stuff like that, especially in such a small town like we live in. And my first time going to the restaurant, I was super excited about it. And then the food, honestly, was really good the first time I went to it. I really enjoyed it the first time I went, and that's what kept me coming back. The only thing I can complain about the first time was the flies. The fly issue was out of this world there because they kept two giant garage doors open and gave like this nice atmosphere. Don't get me wrong, the atmosphere was gorgeous with the doors open and felt really nice, felt really, like a home cooked, home meal type of backyard barbecue feeling. But the flies ruined that feeling because it was unbelievable how many there were. And getting on into the review of the restaurant, right here I'm going to go ahead and show you some pictures of the restaurant when you first walk in. So, when you first walk into the restaurant here, you can see it's very gorgeous inside. I love the giant Texas flag in the back. I love the tables that they use. Very nice home decor. Like a nice home feeling with the TVs and everything. And just going off of that, those two pictures there is the two pictures I came in and took while we were inside. I really love the way it makes you feel when you're in there. Sitting at the benches there makes you really feel like you're in someone's backyard. Of course, being me, I'm a booth guy, so I always take the booth to the backs there in the building. That's where I always go. But if you notice here, the place was really empty feeling. Now, I don't know if I just went at a very awkward time to where the place was really empty feeling or not, but it really felt empty here. And when I start talking about the food, you're really going to see why it felt empty to me. Now, when I go into talking about the food, I want you to consider some things. I'm not currently eating the food. I took pictures of the food when I was there. I took notes of the food when I was there. That way, the notes represented what I was tasting then and there. Because I don't want to bring the food back with me, then reheat it, and then try it now here and give you not a full perfect review of what it actually was, why I was there. That's why I took notes. That's why I took pictures of the food while I was there. Now, going into the food pictures, I want you to be mindful of some things. I'm going to be talking about taste. I'm going to be talking about texture. I'll be talking about how the food is cooked. I'm also going to talk a little bit about presentation. But before we get into any of that, I want to talk about service. Service, when I first walked in, took about a minute before the lady came over and got my drink order. Not too long there at all. The drink came back within 30 seconds of after her taking my drink order. Pretty good there, pretty good. Now, after she walked away from that is where things started to go downhill a little bit. I sat there and looked at my menu, decided what I was going to eat, set my menu down, and sat there. And sat there. I looked over at her. And then I sat there some more. I looked over at her again, sat there some more. Mind you, there is nobody in the restaurant with me at the time that is taking an order. Everybody that's in there already has food on their table eating. Look at her some more. Then she finally sees me. Then I thought, okay, here she comes. Not too bad at this time. Maybe waiting another 2-3 minutes. No, not too bad. And then she starts talking to one of the other waitresses. And then I look over. She's still talking to her. Finally, she grabs the iPad or whatever they're using, for their tablets, whatever they're using for their orders and stuff. I'm thinking, okay, here she comes finally. Not too bad at all. Still good timing. Well, I wouldn't say good timing there. She already talked quite a bit. And then she continues talking, and continues talking, and continues talking. By this time, I've already made an assumption in my head. I better drink my tea a little slowly, because honestly, I don't think I'm going to be getting a refill anytime soon at this rate. Finally comes over, and she takes my order. Now, what I ordered off the menu was, they called the Texas toast or something. I can't remember what the exact word was. It's pretty much Texas toast buttered up with some meat of your choosing on it. I always pick the old-fashioned meat for stuff like that. The old-fashioned meat, I'm going to go ahead and talk about now, because I really didn't get any good picture of it, because the second it sat down on my table after waiting so long, I ate that motherfucker pretty fast. No lie. There will be one picture of it you will see, and I'll point it out then what the Texas toaster was. But talking about the old-fashioned meat. This meat, I will recommend every time you go to this restaurant, get the old-fashioned, whether it's in a baked potato, whether it's on some Texas toast, whether it's in the macaroni and cheese. Get the old-fashioned meat. That is a guaranteed great food. Now next, I'm going to pull some pictures up on the screen and start talking about the rest of the food that was on the menu. Now we come into these pictures of food. Great presentation right off the bat, in my opinion. I love the presentation of the food. You get a nice look at the brisket and the ribs and everything. Beautifully cooked brisket, right, by the way. Beautifully cooked ribs by just looks alone. Now, when we get to talking about the ribs, the taste, I'm going to go ahead and pause that picture right there. Actually, go back a little bit. Go ahead and pause that picture right there. When you get to talking about the ribs, this is going to be the first meat we talk about. On my menu, I ordered the old-fashioned on the Texas toaster. Then I ordered ribs for my main meat, ham, and brisket as add-ons. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get any look at the ham because, like I said, I was pretty hungry when the food arrived, and I started eating right away. Now, the ham, we're going to go ahead and talk about the ham first. Ham was nothing special. The ham was ham. I don't know if it's just from all my life I've been spoiled on other ham from my uncle and stuff, but this ham didn't compare. I love a sweet taste with my ham, like a pineapple-y sweet cherry taste with my ham, because I would want that cooked on top of the ham while it's being cooked. Didn't get that here. That's just my personal opinion. Next, as you can see, this brisket here, beautifully cooked, except for one thing. Very dry and very bland. While it had a nice char on the top of it, needed salt, needed seasoning, and very bland. If I didn't have the sauce there in the background to dip in, the brisket would have been a big flop. Now, whenever I say big flop in these videos, that's pretty much as me giving it a 0 on the food taste spectrum. Now, as we move on, we go over back to the brisket, or not the brisket, the ribs. The ribs, gorgeously cooked. Nice char on top, a nice sweet smoky flavor coming off the char. But when we get into the meat aspect of it, off of the char, below it, that's when things start to get a little And I say that because the one thing that threw me off about these ribs, when I bite into them, I can tell it's a cheap meat. And that ruined the meal for me on the ribs. I've had ribs. I've had great ribs. I've had terrible ribs. I've had mediocre ribs. And these ribs were, sadly to say, mediocre compared to the first time I went there, when the ribs were actually really good the first time. I feel like they've gone down here. I don't know if they've changed cooks, they've changed recipes, or what it was. They've changed meat suppliers. But these ribs tasted of poor quality meat. And which is really sad considering how beautifully cooked they were. Now, we continue on in the video here, and now it switches over to the potato salad. I'm not even going to get into this too much with y'all. The potato salad is straight off the rip, big flop. Label it, X it out, don't even order it. The potato salad, super big flop. Too much mustard, and on top of that, bland, tasteless. Honestly, this is probably one of the worst potato salads I've ever had in my life. I didn't even finish it. I didn't even get close to finish it. I took about 3 or 4 bites of it. I salted it, peppered it, tried to make it a little bit better, and it was terrible. Now, if you look right here, this was the old-fashioned meat that I was talking about on the toaster. Oh my God, is it so goddamn good. Speaking of that, seeing that pickle there reminds me of one thing I wanted to talk about on the service. When they were like, while I was waiting for my food, they actually did bring me out a plate of onions, pickles, and jalapenos, a little tote like that you see the toaster in, with all that in there to keep me a little bit occupied while I was eating, which was really, really, really nice, and I really did enjoy that. And so that was a big plus to them. Like I said, that was a big kudos to them on that part. And as we continue through these pictures, like I said, this meat looked really beautiful. And honestly, out of all the meats I tried, the ham was alright. The brisket was eh. The ribs were eh. Honestly, not a big good start considering those are my main dishes. The old-fashioned meat was the only meat I honestly really enjoyed eating while I was there. Now we move on to the sides. As you can see here, there's 3 sides. We got the potato salad, we got beans, and what was mac and cheese. And we'll move on to the beans next. The beans, once again, bland, tasteless, cooked fine. You know, nothing wrong with consistency, cookedness, texture, or anything like that. But just bland and tasteless. And I didn't want to eat them because of that. So that's why all I ate of the potato salad and the beans is right there. That's a final picture. I didn't touch them anymore after that. Now we go into this empty side here, which is the mac and cheese. This is one of the bright lights in the dark type of things. And just like the old-fashioned meat, the mac and cheese, phenomenal. Good homemade mac and cheese. Cheesy, creamy. The only thing I will complain about, I did have to put a little salt, but I do like my food a little bit more salty, so that may have been just me. You may find it perfect if you eat it, but for me, I had to add a little bit of salt. But the mac and cheese was on point. Great food, great side. If you go to this restaurant and you order anything and they ask for sides, always get the mac and cheese. Even if you have 3 sides like I did, get the mac and cheese for all 3. Screw the other sides, not worth it. Mac and cheese is the only good side there to eat. And honestly, that's really all I have to say about the restaurant. At the end of the day, for what I paid for, I got ribs, brisket, ham, the old-fashioned, mac and cheese, beans, potato salad, and a sweetened tea. All for $37. A little bit higher price than I would like to pay considering only 2 of the things were good. And I'm never one to complain. I'm not going to go up there and complain, oh, this ain't good, I want this taken off. No, I ate it. I may have not enjoyed it, but I ate it. I paid for it because that's what a restaurant is at the end of the day. You pay for what you get. And the total was $37 even. Not that bad, honestly. Not that bad. I've been to barbecue places with a little bit higher price, but they were a lot better quality, so I don't mind paying that little bit higher price for some better quality. At the end of the day, honestly, for Poor Daddy's Barbecue in Kermit, Texas, 79745, if you want to try it, get the old-fashioned, get the mac and cheese. And I will say this from past experience, which I don't have any pictures of, the peach cobbler with the ice cream on it, get that too if you want a nice dessert. Other than that, I only give the restaurant 2 stars, which I mean, it's kind of sad to say. I only give them 2 stars because honestly, they disappointed in every single department except for 1 side and 1 meat and dessert. So with that being said, 1 side, 1 meat, 1 dessert. Like I said, 2 stars is all they get. And if you're the owner of the restaurant watching this, just season your food a little bit better, guys. A little bit of salt and pepper never hurts. Even Gordon Ramsay says that and shit. I may salt my food a little too much, so some people say, but just a little bit goes a long way, is the old saying. And I will be back, but I know for now on I'm only going to be ordering the old-fashioned, the mac and cheese, and maybe a little bit of dessert. I'm not going to touch the other meats because honestly, from when you started, from when you ended, you've gone downhill. One thing I will applaud you on, you fixed the big fly problem that y'all had at the beginning by just closing the yard door to adding fans inside. You still get that nice home feeling with it. But I still had about 3 flies buzzing around me, which was really annoying. Even at this time, which the time I'm recording this video is September 27th, 2019. So, still got a lot to work on. I hope y'all stay open and good luck and the best to y'all, but honestly, there's a better restaurant right next door, which I'll be doing a video on in the future, and as I said, I don't really recommend this place unless you just want the old-fashioned meat and mac and cheese. 2 stars is all you get, guys. I apologize about that. If you want to talk to me about it, I'm a local resident. My name's Jeremy D. Glass, Jeremy Dakota Glass, aka I'm Drunk, y'all. And for everybody out there watching the video, if you enjoyed this review, make sure you hit that subscribe button and show a little bit of love to me. And as always, stay drunk, y'all.